Beneath the endless sky lies a world few have seen. The ocean, vast, silent, and filled with hidden echoes. Legends drift like waves, stories carried by the tide. Some are forgotten, resting in the deep trenches of time. But one tale still stirs in the silence of the abyss. It is the story of Poseidon, ruler of the boundless sea. Not as a god of storms, nor a hand of anger and wrath, but as a guardian, a keeper of balance in shifting waters. The sea breathes with secrets. Each current holds a memory. And in its farthest depths lies a throne long concealed. The Abyssal Throne, carved from coral, pearl, and stone. It was said to hold the wisdom of the ocean itself. Centuries have passed, and the throne has been forgotten. Yet whispers stir again in the silence of the deep. Whispers that call to Poseidon, ruler of waves and tides. Tonight, we follow those whispers into the heart of the sea. A journey not of conquest, but of remembrance and renewal. So close your eyes and listen to the ocean's timeless song. For the story begins where light fades and mystery waits. Far below the surface, the sea begins to whisper its ancient tale. Currents carry songs older than memory, weaving silence and sound. The ocean floor stretches endlessly, a canvas of shifting light and shadow. Here, mysteries sleep within canyons carved by time itself. Legends say one such canyon holds more than stone and silence. It holds a forgotten secret, hidden in the stillness of the abyss. The whisper of the deep does not come as a roar, but as a sigh. It drifts through waves, brushing past coral, kelp, and wandering fish. Creatures stir at its touch, blinking in patterns of light. Schools of silver flash, sensing the pull of something unseen. Turtles pause mid-swim, their shells touched by a hush of currents. Even whales, grand travelers of the sea, listen and turn. For they too hear the murmur rising from the hidden chasm. The whisper speaks not in words, but in feelings and echoes. It carries weight, the kind that presses upon the soul. It tells of a throne carved when the seas were still young. A throne resting where no sunlight has ever reached. Its coral bones gleam faintly, embraced by silence and time. Pearls shimmer across it, locked in darkness for eternity. Stone older than memory forms its foundation, unbroken and cold. This is the Abyssal Throne, a seat of wisdom and balance. Not built for conquest, nor forged for power alone, but for guidance, for harmony, for the breath of the deep. Yet it was lost, swallowed by shifting waters long ago, forgotten by mortals, hidden even from gods who rule above. Still, the throne remembers, and the sea remembers with it. And now, the whispers rise again, urgent yet soft. They sweep through trenches, rising into the open waters. The currents carry them like a message written in silence. They call not to mortals, who cannot understand their weight. They call to the ruler of waves, the master of tides. Poseidon, who walks where no ship dares to sail. He alone can hear the whisper clearly, as if it speaks. He alone can answer the song echoing from the abyss. The sea leans toward him, restless in its timeless cradle. Every ripple, every tide, bends to this ancient calling. The whisper grows louder, a current of memory unbroken. It asks not for war, but for return and remembrance. The ocean longs for balance, for the touch of its guardian. The Abyssal Throne waits, cloaked in coral and shadow. It waits not to grant new power, but to awaken old truths. And so, the story moves closer to its first great step. The call has been sent, and the sea holds its breath. For the whisper of the deep has chosen its listener, and that listener is Poseidon, lord of the boundless sea. The ocean is vast, yet every wave bends to the will of its ruler. Poseidon sits within his palace, a citadel woven of coral and pearl. The halls shimmer with the glow of seashell light, gentle and calm. Here, the sea god listens not to thunder, but to whispers of the deep. Around him, dolphins leap through archways, their songs echoing joy. Schools of fish paint rivers of silver across the open chambers. Sea turtles drift lazily, their shells etched with patterns of time. Every creature knows the rhythm of this realm, guided by Poseidon. For his hand does not command by fear, but by balance and care. He shapes the tides as a shepherd guides his flock through valleys. Each current flows with purpose, feeding coral gardens and kelp forests. Whales pass through with ancient songs, welcomed like honored guests. The sea in its fullness becomes not chaos, but harmony. Even storms, when they rise, bow to the order of his will. He is more than ruler. He is guardian, father, and keeper of calm. But now, within this balance, Poseidon feels a shift. The waters tremble with a voice deeper than the seabed itself. His trident hums faintly, vibrating with echoes not born of storms. The palace walls shimmer, as if responding to the distant call. Nereids pause their dance, their laughter stilled by unseen ripples. Merfolk look toward the trenches, sensing the stirrings of memory. The ocean holds its breath, waiting for its master to hear. Poseidon rises slowly, his gaze fixed upon the endless horizon. The call is clear, though words do not shape its meaning. It is the sound of longing, the sound of something forgotten. The sea god closes his eyes, and he sees a vision. A throne, hidden deep, cloaked in shadow and silence. Coral fingers clutch it, pearls shimmer faintly in the dark. A throne not of conquest, but of wisdom once shared. The image lingers, heavy as the weight of tides. Poseidon opens his eyes, the vision still upon his heart. The ocean stirs, and the palace walls seem to breathe. He knows what it means, though no one dares to speak. The abyssal throne has awakened, and it calls to him. It calls not as a crown of power, but as a reminder. A reminder of his duty, of the balance he must guard. The realm is vast, but even gods cannot forget forever. Every ripple carries the truth, every tide holds memory. Poseidon breathes deeply, and the sea answers with silence. The silence is not empty, but filled with expectation. The time has come to descend, to walk the trenches of night. The ruler must become the seeker, the guardian must remember. For the ocean's harmony rests upon the throne forgotten, and Poseidon alone can restore the song of the deep. Long before ships touched the waves, the ocean carried stories untold. Among them lived the tale of a throne made for the sea itself. It was not forged of gold, nor carved by mortal hands. It was born of coral, pearl, and stone shaped by the abyss. The abyssal throne, a seat not of conquest, but of harmony. Legends whispered it could hear the voices of the deep. Every current, every tide, every silence flowed into its memory. The throne held not power alone, but wisdom of the ocean's heart. It was said those who sat upon it felt the sea itself breathe. They heard the cries of whales, the songs of dolphins, the hush of kelp. They felt the rhythm of waves, pulsing like the heartbeat of the world. The throne was a covenant, not a crown of pride. It bound its keeper to protect, not to rule with iron. But centuries passed, and the throne slipped into shadow. No mortal diver could find it, and no god sought it. The ocean closed around it, wrapping it in silence and depth. Only whispers remained, drifting through trenches like forgotten prayers. Some say the throne was hidden by the sea itself. Others claim Poseidon set it aside when storms grew fierce. But truth is a shifting current, never resting in one place. The throne's silence became part of the ocean's song. Creatures swam above it, blind to its ancient glow. Coral grew across its surface, pearls slept in shadow. The throne waited, as patient as time itself. It needed no keeper, for the sea is never hurried. But the balance it guarded began to thin with years. Currents grew restless, storms wandered without rhythm. The ocean longed for the hand of its steward again. And so whispers rose, weaving themselves into waves. Legends told to children of merfolk began to stir. Songs of nereids carried faint traces of forgotten truth. The abyssal throne was not gone, only hidden. And when the time was right, it would call again. Now that time has come, and the sea begins to listen. The whispers swell, reaching every corner of the realm. They pass through coral gardens, across ridges and plains. They sink into the trenches, where silence has no end. The throne awakens, not with thunder, but with memory. Its glow is faint, but steady like a pulse beneath the sea. It waits for the one it remembers, the one it chose. For no throne is truly forgotten if the sea remembers. And the sea remembers all, for it is older than time. The abyssal throne waits, patient and unbroken. It does not seek worship, nor does it crave power. It seeks only the guardian who understands its truth. Poseidon, lord of tides, the one bound to its song. Soon he will descend, soon he will remember. And when he does, the ocean will breathe in harmony once more. The sea is never still, yet tonight its movement feels uncertain. Currents twist in unfamiliar ways, as if guided by unseen hands. Fish scatter suddenly, vanishing into coral shadows without warning. Whales change their songs, adding tones heavy with unease. Even the tides seem restless, rising higher than the moon commands. Something deep below has shifted, and the ocean carries its echo. Poseidon feels it before words can shape its meaning. The sea is his realm, and its pulse beats within him. But this is not the rhythm of storms, nor the crash of waves. It is slower, older, a voice from the abyssal dark. The voice does not shout, yet it moves through every current. It trembles in the coral reefs, it drifts through kelp forests. It hums within the shells of crabs and clings to shifting sands. It is a disturbance, but also a calling, faint yet unyielding. Nereids rise from their grottos, their songs cut short in silence. Merfolk pause in their dances, gazing toward the shadowed trenches. Dolphins gather, clicking and whistling as if sharing secret warnings. All creatures turn their senses to the depths, waiting for change. Poseidon stands upon the balcony of his palace, trident in hand. His eyes search the dark waters, though sight reveals nothing. He closes them, listening instead to the sea's quiet voice. And in that silence, he feels the truth. The disturbance is not chaos, but memory awakening. The abyssal throne stirs in the shadows, breaking its long sleep. The sea remembers, and now it calls its guardian to return. Poseidon breathes deeply, feeling the weight settle upon his heart. He has ruled for ages, but some duties cannot be ignored. The balance of the ocean is fragile, and it bends under silence. The throne waits, not in anger, but in patient expectation. It does not demand war nor triumph, only remembrance. Yet the calling grows stronger, and with it, unease spreads. Storms gather in strange places, their paths twisting unnaturally. Currents clash, sending waves crashing where they do not belong. The sea's rhythm falters, its harmony beginning to break. Poseidon knows he cannot delay, for time itself is shifting. The abyss does not wait forever, even for gods. He turns to the trident, its prongs glowing faintly in the dark. The weapon hums, resonating with the voice of the deep. It confirms what he already knows, but has not spoken. The throne has awakened, and it is calling him home. The god of the sea stands tall, his decision unshaken. He will answer the call, for he is not only ruler, he is keeper, guardian, and servant of the endless ocean. And if the abyssal throne remembers him, then he must remember too. The disturbance below is no threat. It is an invitation to descend, to listen, to reclaim the forgotten balance. And so, Poseidon prepares to journey where no light dares to follow. The abyss awaits, silent and eternal, holding truths long concealed. Poseidon leaves his palace, the glow of coral fading behind him. The sea grows darker with every step, shadows thick as veils. He moves with ease, for the ocean bends to his presence. Yet even he feels the shift, the weight of the deepening silence. The waters grow colder, each current brushing like a ghostly hand. Creatures scatter as he passes, vanishing into cracks and caves. The path leads downward, into trenches where no sunlight dares reach. Mountains of stone rise like walls, their peaks hidden in blackness. Strange fish glow faintly, their lights like scattered stars of the abyss. Jellyfish drift slowly, their tendrils glowing pale in the dark. The world here moves differently, each moment stretched by silence. No sound of waves, no song of whales, only stillness surrounds. Poseidon listens, and in the stillness, the whisper grows stronger. It curls around him, urging him deeper into the unknown. The god does not hesitate, for he has walked these paths before. But never has the ocean felt so heavy, so full of memory. He descends past ridges, sharp as blades, where eels flicker in and out. He passes caverns lit by faint crystals, glowing with forgotten fire. Currents twist in circles, as though guarding sacred ground. It is a journey not of distance, but of descent into time. Each league down feels like centuries peeled back layer by layer. The seabed changes, its stones older, its silence thicker. Poseidon's trident hums softly, guiding him like a star in night. It glows faintly, answering the pull of the abyssal call. He knows he draws closer, for even the sea life vanishes. Here, nothing moves, nothing sings, only the abyss remains. It is not death, but a stillness that feels eternal. The god pauses, gazing into the blackness before him. A canyon yawns wide, deeper than thought, darker than dream. Its edges are jagged, its mouth like the opening of time itself. From within it, the whisper rises, now a steady song. It vibrates through the rocks, through his trident, through his heart. The song is not one of fear, but of remembrance. It is as if the sea itself asks him to return. He steps forward, leaving the last traces of light behind. The descent grows harder, each movement pulling him further from the world. But Poseidon is not shaken. His will is as deep as the ocean. He moves with calm, his eyes fixed upon the unseen throne. The silence presses against him, yet the whisper comforts him. It is the call of memory, of duty, of ancient truth. At last, he reaches a ledge, standing before the abyssal plain. The floor stretches wide, covered in coral pale as bone. Pearls gleam faintly, scattered like stars across the darkness. And there, at the farthest edge, rests a shadowed form. It waits, silent and unbroken, cloaked in coral and time. The abyssal throne, untouched, forgotten, yet alive with quiet power. Poseidon gazes upon it, his heart heavy with recognition. The journey is not finished, but the path has begun. For the throne waits, and the sea holds its breath in silence. Poseidon stands before the abyssal throne, its shadow vast across the seabed. The throne is silent, yet its presence hums like a forgotten hymn. Coral wraps around its base, weaving crowns of pale ivory. Pearls rest in clusters, glowing faintly like stars trapped in stone. The seat itself is vast, carved from rock older than memory. It is not lifeless, but patient, waiting with the stillness of eternity. Poseidon feels the pull, not on his body, but upon his spirit. The sea itself urges him to step closer, to remember his bond. He grips his trident, its glow answering the throne's quiet song. Each step forward sends a ripple through the abyssal waters. The silence is so deep, it seems the ocean holds its breath. He places his hand upon the armrest, feeling the stone alive. It vibrates faintly, like a heart beating under layers of time. Memories rise within him, unbidden, yet clear as crashing waves. He recalls the first storms he shaped, when the seas were young. He recalls the vows he made to guard the balance of the deep. The throne is not merely a seat, but a covenant of guardianship. It binds the god to the sea as much as it obeys him. For ages, he ruled above, forgetting the silence below. Now the throne awakens, reminding him of duty beyond kingship. His voice echoes softly, words carried into the stillness. I have not abandoned you, though time has been unkind. The throne answers not with sound, but with deep resonance. It spreads through the waters, touching ridges, caverns, and plains. All the ocean feels it, a pulse of recognition, of balance returning. Creatures stir in their hiding places, sensing the shift of power. Whales far above adjust their songs, harmonizing with the abyss. The throne glows faintly, light spilling from cracks in its form. Poseidon closes his eyes, surrendering to the flow of memory. He feels the ocean's heartbeat merge with his own once more. Currents shift, realigning as if guided by unseen hands. Storms above quiet, their winds falling into natural rhythm. The sea begins to balance itself, guided by the ancient bond. Yet in the depths of the silence, a warning lingers. The throne does not stir without reason, nor does the sea call idly. Something presses from beyond, a shadow not yet seen. The balance is fragile, the throne's awakening only the beginning. Poseidon withdraws his hand, his eyes bright with resolve. The abyss holds secrets he has not yet uncovered. But one truth is clear, as steady as the tide. The throne remembers him, and now the ocean is whole again. Still questions remain, carried on the whisper of the deep. What stirs the throne after centuries of silence? What force lies beyond the horizon of the abyss? Poseidon does not yet know, but the journey is far from done. He turns from the throne, the trident steady in his hand. The sea will guide him, for he is bound to its call. The abyss watches, silent but alive, waiting for what comes next. The ocean above stirs uneasily, its surface mirroring the tension of the abyss. Ships drift off course, their compasses trembling as if confused by unseen hands. Sailors whisper of strange lights beneath the waves, flickering like ghostly stars. Even the winds shift oddly, carrying salt, heavy air to distant shores. The balance restored below begins to ripple outward across the seas. Poseidon rises from the trench, leaving the abyssal throne behind him. The memory of its pulse still lingers, strong as a heartbeat in his chest. He knows the throne has awakened for a reason beyond remembrance. Something stirs beyond the edges of his dominion, pressing against the seas. Currents weave in strange patterns, carrying whispers from places uncharted. Merfolk gather in hidden grottos, their voices tense with speculation. Some claim a shadow moves through waters no god has touched in eons. Others speak of a gate, sealed when the world was still young. Poseidon listens to them, though their fears carry little clarity. He senses truth within their words, even if they do not understand it. For the ocean's silence is not empty. It holds secrets waiting to surface. The trident glows faintly, its hum steady but edged with unease. It is as if the weapon itself knows more than it can reveal. Poseidon lifts it high, and the waters shift, opening a path ahead. Creatures of the deep follow him, silent witnesses to his journey. They do not speak, but their presence is a sign of loyalty. Even sharks and eels swim beside him, bound by the ocean's command. The god of the sea moves upward, leaving the abyss for brighter waters. Yet he does not find comfort, for the seas remain restless. Storms brew at the horizon, their shapes twisted and unnatural. Clouds swirl in spirals, as though drawn by an unseen tether. The surface world feels the pull of the abyss, though it cannot see it. Poseidon breaks through the waves, rising tall against the storm's edge. Lightning flashes, illuminating his figure, trident raised against the sky. He gazes outward, eyes narrowing at the horizon's dark shimmer. There, faint but undeniable, lies a rift in the distance. The sea itself bends around it, waves turning inward like spirals. It is not storm alone, but a wound, a tear in the ocean's fabric. The god breathes deeply, his voice carried on thunder and surf. This is the reason the throne called to me. The waters roar in answer, the storm bending to his presence. He understands now. The throne did not awaken in isolation. It rose to prepare him, to remind him of the duty forgotten. The rift grows wider with each passing tide, unstable and wild. If left unchecked, it could unravel the balance of sea and sky alike. Poseidon grips the trident, the weight of ages heavy in his hands. The path ahead is perilous, but his resolve does not falter. For he is the guardian of the ocean, and no wound shall consume it. The sea watches with him, every current tense, every creature waiting. And in the distance, the rift glows faintly, promising answers and trials. The storm calms as Poseidon advances, though the sky remains restless. The rift on the horizon glows faintly, its edges twisting the sea. It is not merely a wound, but a doorway hidden in plain sight. Waves spiral toward it, pulled by a force older than memory. Poseidon's trident hums louder, resonating with the energy of the rift. It confirms his fear. This is no natural tear in the ocean's weave. It is a gate, sealed in an age when gods still shaped the world. Long ago, he recalls, such rifts were closed to protect the balance. They held back realms not meant to touch the mortal sea. Now, one of them stirs, straining against the seal of ages. Poseidon moves closer, each step sending calm through the waters. Creatures scatter as he nears, unwilling to face the pull of the rift. Even whales turn away, their deep songs echoing with unease. The god halts at a distance, his gaze fixed on the shifting wound. It swirls with strange colors, blue and green mixing with shadow. Beyond it lies darkness, not empty, but full of waiting. He feels the abyss behind it, vast and unmeasured by mortal thought. The sea whispers in his ears, urging him to caution. The throne's awakening was no accident. It prepared him for this. He raises his trident, sending a surge of light across the water. The rift answers, shuddering as though stirred by recognition. Its edges spark, currents twisting like vines of lightning. The ocean trembles, but Poseidon stands firm, anchored in resolve. He knows now that the rift is not yet fully broken. It can still be sealed, though the task will demand great strength. But why it opened and what pushes from the other side remains unknown. He lowers his trident slowly, his mind heavy with thought. To act too soon may fracture the balance beyond repair. To wait too long may invite what stirs inside to break free. The god turns to the sea, speaking into its endless depths. Reveal to me what stirs, so I may guard your balance. The waves respond with silence, carrying only the hum of the rift. Poseidon understands. Some answers cannot be given, only found. He must venture closer, perhaps even beyond the threshold itself. But he cannot do so blindly. The sea requires wisdom, not haste. He calls upon the Nereids, summoning them with a thought. They rise from the waves, shimmering with the glow of moonlit foam. Their eyes wide with awe. They bow before their lord of the sea. He commands them to watch the waters, to guard the creatures. For if he must step beyond, the sea must not falter in his absence. The Nereids agree, their song soft and solemn with devotion. Poseidon turns back toward the rift, its glow pulsing steadily. He grips the trident, feeling the weight of fate pressing upon him. The sea is patient, but the rift is not. Its energy builds, its hunger spilling into the currents. Time is thinning, and soon a choice must be made. Poseidon exhales, steady as the tide, ready for what awaits. The god of the sea will not turn away, no matter the cost. The rift pulses brighter, each wave carrying a tremor through the sea. Its glow paints the waters with shifting shadows, like a living dream. Poseidon approaches slowly, every step weighed with centuries of duty. The trident thrums in his hand, resonating with the rift's strange song. The air around him feels heavier, as if pressing against his chest. Currents clash around the rift, spiraling inward with unnatural rhythm. He halts before the wound, gazing into its swirling depths. There's no horizon within, only darkness alive with hidden motion. It feels vast, endless, yet close enough to touch with his hand. The god of the sea raises his trident high, steady and unwavering. Light spills forth, striking the surface of the rift like a beacon. The wound shivers, its colors rippling, edges fraying into sparks. And then, he hears it. A voice, soft yet deep as the abyss. It speaks not in words, but in currents and tones of the sea. The meaning flows into him, ancient and undeniable. Guardian of the deep, the seal weakens. The forgotten stirs again. Poseidon's eyes narrow, his heart steady despite the weight of truth. This is no accident, but the unraveling of bonds long neglected. He recalls whispers of gates sealed by gods in the age of creation. Doors built to keep realms apart, preventing chaos from rising. And now, one of them strains against its bindings, seeking release. The voice grows softer, fading back into the hum of the rift. Poseidon lowers his trident, deep in thought, his mind unshaken. The throne awakened him, not merely to guard, but to decide. What lies beyond must either be sealed or faced. He feels the sea's eyes upon him, every creature waiting in silence. Above, storms churn harder, reflecting the turmoil below. Lightning splits the sky, but the god stands calm against the fury. The rift swells, waves slamming outward as if testing its strength. He braces himself, gripping the trident with unyielding resolve. For if the seal shatters, the ocean itself could break apart. He speaks into the waters, his voice carrying far and wide. The sea will not fall. I will hold its balance. The rift answers with another tremor. Stronger, hungrier than before. But Poseidon does not retreat. He steps closer, eyes locked on it. The glow intensifies, swirling, faster, pulling currents into its maw. He He plants the trident firmly, light spreading like roots into the sea. The ocean steadies for a moment, anchored by his will. The rift quivers, its hunger stalled, though not yet satisfied. Poseidon knows this is only the beginning of the trial. The gate cannot be ignored. It demands an answer soon. He exhales slowly, calm as the tide, though his spirit burns. Whatever waits beyond, he will face it as guardian of the sea. The ocean is his realm, and no shadow shall claim it unchallenged. The sea holds its breath as Poseidon lingers before the rift. The glow swells, pulsing like the heartbeat of a hidden world. Currents twist around him, forming spirals that tighten with each surge. He feels the throne's call deep in his soul, steady and commanding. It does not urge him to destroy, but to choose with wisdom. The abyss waits, vast and heavy, pressing its silence upon him. Poseidon lifts his trident, its light piercing through the rift's veil. The darkness beyond flickers, shapes shifting in distant shadow. They are not clear, yet they move with purpose, patient and slow. The god steadies his breath, the sea responding to his calm. Whales hum faintly in the distance, as if lending him their song. The Nereids circle far behind, watching with fear and reverence. Poseidon knows this moment binds the fate of oceans yet unborn. He steps closer, his form outlined in a radiant silver glow. The rift trembles, colors rippling as though it recognizes its judge. He speaks, his voice low but carrying through waves and wind alike. I am the guardian of these waters. You shall not take them. The rift answers not with words, but with a surge of force. Waves collapse inward, trying to draw him into the endless maw. Poseidon thrusts his trident downward, roots of light gripping the sea. The pull weakens, though the hunger gnaws, yearning for release. He feels the ancient seal strain, threads of power fraying at its core. A choice lies before him, to seal it again or to open. Sealing may preserve the sea, yet bind what lies beyond forever. Opening may invite ruin or bring forgotten truths to light. The god closes his eyes, listening to the rhythm of the tide. It whispers balance, not fear, not force, but harmony restored. Poseidon exhales, raising his trident once more, steady as dawn. Light pours forth, not as chains, but as weaving streams of song. They wrap around the rift, binding its edges with threads of calm. The wound steadies, no longer tearing, but pulsing in quiet rhythm. It is not closed, nor fully open, but held in balance. A threshold guarded, not broken, awaiting the time of truth. Poseidon lowers his trident, the glow fading into gentle shimmer. The sea sighs in relief, waves softening against his feet. The storm above breaks, moonlight spilling silver across the waters. The god stands tall, burdened yet resolute, guardian eternal. He has not sealed away the abyss, but chosen patience. For some truths cannot be forced. They must awaken in their time. Poseidon turns back, his gaze sweeping across the endless horizon. The throne within the abyss will wait, but he will guard. The sea hums with gratitude, its voice clear in every ripple. He whispers to the deep, a promise carried on every tide. No shadow shall rise while I watch. The ocean is eternal. The waves bow in answer, carrying his vow across the world. Poseidon walks back into the depths, his duty endless, his spirit unbroken. The ocean rests, its surface calm, as though it too has heard the vow. Stars emerge above, glittering like lanterns on a boundless canvas. The storm has passed, leaving the sea silver and endless beneath the moon. Poseidon stands alone, yet never truly alone within his vast domain. Every wave, every ripple, hums with the rhythm of his promise. The throne within the abyss lies quiet, but not forgotten. It beats softly, a reminder of a choice yet unfinished. The god does not turn from it, but watches with patient eyes. Patience is strength, as much as power, as much as will. He knows the sea is not meant to be chained by fear. It must flow, expand, and breathe as life itself does. Sealing forever might smother its truth. Opening might drown it in ruin. Balance, delicate as foam on the tide, is the answer. Poseidon whispers to the deep, his voice steady and clear. I will keep watch until the time reveals its own path. The Nereids bow and fade, their songs dissolving into soft waves. Creatures rise from the depths, emboldened by their lord's calm. Even the whales lift their songs, echoing through the endless blue. The sea answers, whole again, singing with voices both small and vast. Poseidon's heart steadies, not with triumph, but with harmony restored. The abyss waits, but it will not consume, not while he stands. He turns from the rift, walking into the heart of the sea. The glow behind him dims, subdued by his command of balance. It is not an ending, but the beginning of vigilance renewed. The god is a guardian, not of conquest, but of constancy. The ocean is eternal, and so too must be his duty. Every tide, every storm, every calm will carry his hand. His throne is not hidden, not forgotten, but alive in him. The abyssal seat is not stone, nor gold, but a vow eternal. A vow that no shadow, no hunger, no chaos will reign. The sea is vast because it holds both light and depth. It breathes with mystery, yet finds peace in its guardian's resolve. Poseidon smiles faintly, a rare thing carried on the breeze. He feels the ocean's pulse steady, beating with strength once more. The world above sleeps, unaware of how close it came to fracture. Yet the sea will never tell, for its keeper has spoken. The gods of old may fade, but the sea endures. And while it endures, Poseidon endures within it, unbroken. The stars wheel above, timeless as the tide below. The rift glimmers faintly, no longer wild but waiting. The sea knows patience, and so does its god. In time, all truths rise, as sure as dawn. Until then, Poseidon watches, the eternal guardian of the deep. He walks into the waves, his figure fading with the horizon. The ocean closes behind him, calm, vast, and everlasting. The story ends, yet the tide carries it forward forever. For the sea remembers, and the sea never forgets.